Kwame, welcome to this week's edition of Ghana in Focus with myself, Kwame, Ghanaian broadcaster, writer, journalist, podcaster, and entrepreneur. And in this week's edition of Ghana in Focus, we're continuing the theme of relationships. Should you help your girlfriend or boyfriend, particularly when you get married? So essentially, do you support and help your wife or your husband when you are married? And it follows interesting, take on this by Wode Maya. And one of the videos that I tried to get it, but I couldn't get it for you, but I'll discuss that in the podcast. All right, so that's the theme for today's show. Should you support your husband or wife? Now, before we get into the show, just to make you aware, if you like what you hear, be share with your friends, your family, social media networks, subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube. We want to get at least 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We probably won't get it, but please subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube. And we're also available on Spotify, where again we want to try and get 800 subscribers by the end of the year. So far we're pushing on 600. So we want to, encourage you to subscribe on either YouTube and or Spotify. And Spotify, just look out for Ghana Africa in Focus. Click the follow button, meaning that every time I upload a new podcast, Spotify will notify you. All right, so let's get into podcast. Should you support your husband or your wife when you're married? Now, this is on the back of a recent YouTube that I saw, whereby Wode Maya, the famous Ghanaian YouTuber, saying that he supports his wife, and there was another YouTuber saying that he doesn't agree with Wode Maya and this and that. So I thought it'd be quite interesting, as we have been talking about relationships for most of the year, to have a discussion about it. Do you support your husband or your wife, when you are in marriage? Now, some people, so if you look at women, so if you support your wife, some men are of the opinion that you shouldn't support your wife, because if you do, if you support her and she gets, for want of a better expression, knowledge or whatever, it should ease you, she go for another man, that kind of thing. And again, with some of the women, they say that if you support your husband, then it may not be that beneficial towards the marriage. And I'm thinking, well, that's what a marriage is about. When a marriage is a union of not just two families, but also two people. And so when these two people come together, it will make common sense that you both support each other and help each other in terms of your goals, aspirations, and particularly, your individual goals, aspirations, but also as a partnership, a male and female, a woman and a man, a wife and husband. In particular, when you decide to have children, then obviously you have to support each other in raising those children to become decent human beings. And so I don't really agree with those who say you shouldn't support your wife or you shouldn't support your husband for many, many, many reasons. But let me give you examples of why it is important to support your wife or support your husband, so that you grow, she grows, or he grows, the relationship grows, and the relationship becomes successful, the marriage blossoms, etc. So take example of Wode Maya. He's helped his now wife, Miss Trudy, become the person that she is. And she actually said on one show that I saw, I think it was with KSM in Ghana. KSM is a famous Ghanaian comedian who does a bit of satire and also does a bit of interest in politics looking at Ghana. And he interviewed Wode Maya and Miss Trudy. And Miss Trudy said that, Wode Maya has made me the person that I am. If it wasn't for Wode Maya, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So Miss Trudy has a massive YouTube channel. I think she's got something about 700,000 subscribers. And she said that it was Wode Maya that taught her how to basically use YouTube as a vehicle for professional development, for growth as a human being, but also as a tool which you can make her money. And Wode Maya said that, he is her husband, and so he feels that he has to help her in terms of, solidifying their marriage relationship, because he also said that, one day I may go broke, but I can rely on my wife because she will have her money and she will help us, when I'm broke, which is very important to find, because many African marriages, Ghana, whatever, right, Nigeria, many African marriages break down because of this thing about money, money, money. And so if you depend on just one partner to bring in the money, right? So for example, a lot of men, in Africa, Ghana, etc., they expect the man to go out and make the money for the family, and the woman stays in the home looking after the children, that kind of thing. But obviously in today's environment, women are encouraged to get, employed and, also get a career within the structure of the family. And that helps because, and particularly if the marriage is a genuine marriage, right? And this is where some men, can say this, because if you help a woman, right, and the woman's not genuine, obviously she's gonna go. So before you marry that woman, you need to know she's genuine, that she genuinely wants to marry you, and that she's genuinely interested in developing the relationship and the marriage and taking it to the next step or next level. And so when you're courting the woman, you got to find that out for yourself if the woman that you are courting is wife material, and vice versa. As a woman, you must do your homework to decipher if that man that you want to marry is actually marriage material, because there's a lot of men out there, right, who, say they want to marry, but expect the woman to do the cleaning, the cooking, and in some cases even get the money for the family. And so, again, as a woman, you must really study the man that you want to be with to understand if he is, marriage material. Because if you don't, and you marry that person, you may get a big shock when you do marry that person. And so it's important that both men and women study their partners that they want to spend the rest of their lives with, yeah? And so back to, Miss Trudy and Wode Maya. So Miss Trudy said that Wode Maya had made me the person that I am because of the support and the development he gave her. So when Wode Maya met Miss Trudy and knew that Miss Trudy was going to be his life partner, yeah, even before he sort of recognized that she was the one for him, he, supported her by introducing her to YouTube. This is how this medium works, what it can do to help you, to help us make money so that, we can look after ourselves and you can become independent, sort of thing. So by helping Miss Trudy, Wode Maya not only helped him, not only helped Miss Trudy, but he also helped himself, because she does not 100% depend on Wode Maya for her income. So say, for example, relationships, breakings happen. But say, for example, if Wode Maya had not taught Miss Trudy anything about YouTube, professional development, how to be independent within the marriage. Say, for example, if they split up, right, Miss Trudy would be, she'd not be the same person that she is now. Yeah. And she would need to depend on the man because she hasn't got the skills, the professional development that she needs to be independent within herself and then independent within and contribute towards a marriage. And so for me, it's very, very important that a man, you support your wife that you choose to be your life partner. Why? Because A, it helps you, and B, helps the family. So in times and those times just happen whereby you as a man, you may be laid off work for whatever reason, or you may not be getting as much income as you normally would, because, for example, you may be self-employed and the business is going through lean times. If you support the woman for her career aspirations, or some support her in some small business or whatever, she, particularly if she's a decent woman, will support you during your hard times, because she knows that once you're back on your feet, she knows that you will support her and the family. Yeah. So this is why it's important for you as a man to support your wife. Again, vice versa, it's important for a woman to support her husband. And let me give you another example. So Michelle Obama, great woman, right? I've listened to many interviews that she's done when she was first lady, and you know, interviews where she's not been first lady after Barack Obama left office. And in that, she tells that how, she supported Barack's ambition to be president, because Barack Obama wanted to be president of the US, but he wouldn't buy his wife first. And I remember Michelle Obama saying, if I was selfish, I could have said, no, I don't want you to run for president of America. But because she saw the bigger picture and she understood that as a wife, she has a duty to support her husband, she didn't think of her own individual needs or individual wants, right? She thought about the big picture and thought about, yes, I will support you, Barack, in wanting to become US president. And as we all saw, history, what's the term that they use? The rest is history. So Obama became elected in 2008. He took office in January 2009, and then you saw the rest is history. And obviously, Michelle Obama became one of the best first ladies the United States has ever happened, or has ever seen. Yeah, and that's because the marriage between those two, and you see it. Yeah, the marriage between Barack and Michelle Obama is very, very tight. They love each other, they respect each other, and they importantly support one another's development and growth. Yeah, so this again is another example of a woman now supporting her husband's aspiration to become US president, right? And looking at the bigger picture and not looking at her own selfish needs. Yeah. So again, a lot of women, and I mentioned this before, some women in Ghana are only out for themselves and what they can get from a man, not understanding that if you support your man, support your husband, help him to develop his career or help him to develop his business, right? When times are hard, he's there. That support that you gave him, he'll be there for you and the family. So this is why it's very, very important that men support their wives and wives support their husbands, because we look at the bigger picture. It's not about individual circumstances and needs, yeah? It's about what the two of you can do together to help each other develop and grow, to help each other's aspirations, and more importantly, why, when you have children, to support the family that you have now created, yeah? And this is why it's very, very important that when you are married with somebody, you support that person unconditionally. So, for example, if you're a man and you marry a woman and she wants to go to school to be an engineer, right? It's your duty to support your woman through school so that she becomes an engineer, because you never know the bigger picture. She could work for a multinational company in engineering, or she could even have her own engineering business whereby she's making a lot of money to help you, the man, and also the family as well. And again, woman as well. If you marry a man and that man, has a partnership of a business and he wants to be a businessman, you have a duty to that man to support the man in order to realize his aspirations to become a business leader or a successful business person. Because if it does, you will reap the benefits of supporting your husband being that successful businessman, and not have this fear that if I do support my husband, he may run away or he may get a lady on the side, whatever. No, don't think of their own selfish needs. Think of the bigger picture in terms of you, the man, and also the family. And so, you know, this is why it's very, very important that men, women, you support each other, particularly during marriage, because that's what marriage is about. Marriage is not about individual needs. It's about, you know, the collective needs of the female and the collective needs of the male, and how those two can be fused in order for the betterment of both individuals, but more importantly, the betterment of the family unit as a whole. Yeah. And by supporting each other and help each other to realize their dreams and aspirations, that's create successful marriages, yeah, and successful families. And this is what we want to see in Ghana, but also in the wider global Black community. We want to see successful marriages. We want to see marriages thrive and be successful. And the way they can be successful is that if the man respects his woman and helps her realize her potential in her dreams, likewise, the woman must support her man, respect the man, and help him, support him, to realize his dreams and aspirations. Yeah, because that makes for a very, very successful marriage, and also makes for harmonious male-female relationships, and also harmonious family structure. And so I hope you've enjoyed this interesting edition of Ghanaian Focus, looking about why a man should support his wife and why a wife should support her husband, in a marriage context, and looking at some of the nuances, why it is important to support your spouse, within a marriage relationship. All right, so next week in Ghana Focus, it will be a month until Ghana's elections. So we're having a special looking at the election in Ghana. What are some of the topics or some of the issues at hand in the election? And I'll give you my personal take on who Ghanaians should vote for. So you don't want to miss that election special next week in Ghana in Focus. And so for myself, Kwame, and from all the crew here on Ghana in Focus, is thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week for some more Ghana in Focus.